vote to go home. All right, welcome out to the planning meeting. First item on the agenda tonight, of September 18th, is public comment concerning any issue not on the agenda. Has anybody got anything, you guys?
We're just here, we are under contract on a property in Daniel, off Highway 40, 3300 South, so we just kind of wanted to sit in one and see what the process is, and then maybe talk to you guys after.
Oh,
So if you have any questions for us, we're happy to answer any more, but we shouldn't disrupt.
Where is your interested property on Highway 40?
Let's see, you're.
3300 South.
It's right there next to, I think are there some storage units on that?
Yeah,
Right there, right next door to us,
so it's on the west side.
on the west
Yeah.
side,
Okay.
yeah.
back towards town.
Yeah.
Right on. Okay. We are, item number 2, conditional uses in the town. We was working on the commercial. We almost made it through the commercial. So we've been through 3 of them so far. And we still got 3 to go. So we need to finish up the commercial. And I have notes down to nursery. Is that where we about got to? Because I have a note to define nursery and / agricultural. And I think that's where we left the discussion when we ran out of time.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember, did we talk about small scale and large scale last time?
That's right where we was too, is the small scale.
Well, because I was looking at it today, and small scale is less than 40,000 square feet. Large scale, it says less than 40,000 square feet.
Says both, huh?
Yeah, I mean, it's no difference between the two.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I think we ought to change one of the numbers or eliminate the large scale.
Okay, so less than 40 was small scale.
Uh-huh.
So I'm assuming that that will just change over 40 will be large scale.
Do we want to do that?
I don't know.
That's the question. But yeah, right now it says a large scale is also less than 40.
I think we should do that.
Do away with the large scale?
No, just, what we're trying to do is say anything that's under 40,000 is small, and anything that's over is considered large.
Okay.
Yeah, that
Makes more sense than how it is now.
Yes.
Okay, sorry for interrupting on that one, but I thought as we're going through these, at small scale, we better understand which one we're talking about.
Yeah, here it is. Large scale means a business that occupy up to 40,000 square feet. And then it says small scale is a business occupying under 40,000 square feet. So yep, same thing. Up to. So we just need to change the big, large scale means a business occupy over 40,000 square feet. Okay?
So we're changing the large scale to over 40.
Yes. That's what happens if somebody reads it and it doesn't make sense.
Okay.
Okay, so that has us lumber and other building material. We don't have very many to finish these up. And again, these are all in the commercial. Heating and plumbing equipment, small scale, paint, glass, wallpaper, electrical supplies, hardware and supplies, department stores, mail and phone order houses, small scale, variety stores, small scale, other retail trade, general merchandise, small scale, food, small scale, these are all in the commercial. And then automotive, marine craft, aircraft, and accessories. And I think that was the 5,500 that we put under the classic cars
Yeah.
up in the commercial zone. 5,600 would be apparel and accessories, furniture, home furnishings and equipment, eating and drinking places, drive-through short order, drinking places, bar and pub, miscellaneous trade, and then it goes into the exceptions of the 5. Finance, insurance, and real estate service, and portrait photography. So all those were the ones that we didn't get to last time. And I never did figure out what the NEC was. Remember, we was looking at that NEC? So I haven't figured that out. I can't get, I should probably just get a hold of, the county is pretty tied up, but I'll bet I can get Mike from Midway to answer that. I should have called him, I didn't think of that. Because he was working for the county and then Midway hired him, so he's their planner now. So he's gone from the county. Is there any of those jump out at you as something we would want to know as a conditional use? Think all of them.
I thought them were all permitted uses.
That is a permitted use.
It's the large scale that was under the conditional on all
All those were conditional?
those. I think so. I should have printed a copy of
Yeah, just grab my-
Permitted uses. Just read through it.
Yep.
Conditional under A.
Yep, conditional or 48.
Yeah, start at 48, 11.
So, the permitted are okay with that minor change and the definition.
The department stores, large scale, I mean, really, do we have to look at that over the next 20 years?
it. Well, that's under conditional use, right?
Yeah.
I would think we're probably gonna have to, the way things are happening right now.
I'm guessing not.
We're one application away.
Whether we want it or not.
Yeah, except department stores are closing right and left because of
Yeah,
internet
that's
sales.
true too.
Yeah,
Don't see many new department stores built.
And isn't the concept here that if it really looks like something that might happen, we'd still look at it, talk about it, but we want to protect ourselves a little bit by taking it out?
yeah, we can take out whatever
Yeah,
we want to take
I
out.
would take that out myself.
Okay.
So we're down to 5310, you want out? Large scale department,
That would be my vote.
everybody else?
Yes.
Sure.
Okay. Hardware supplies, large scale. Electrical supplies, large scale.
We already have electrical supply. I don't know whether you consider it large scale or not.
Right.
It'd be between 20 and 30,000 square feet.
Yeah, and I don't know if they consider their yard that, because they have their yard there on the side.
We have a good half acre or so of that or more, don't they, or maybe
Yeah, outside
3/4.
storage
But
there.
I don't think we should mess with that one myself.
Okay,
Just department stores bring a lot of traffic, that one would be.
that's true.
But
Yeah, the impact would be different. So,
of course, the mail and phone order house, large scale. When you bring Amazon in, it causes some disruption.
We're hauling material to a building out on Bacchus Highway that's for Amazon, it's gonna have a 10-acre footprint.
really?
Now, yep.
Yep, that's large scale.
Yeah.
530,000 square foot building.
What do we mean
Is
by
that what that would be?
sport assembly?
Sport assembly,
It's the last one, 7220.
Or assembly.
I would think that would be like a race or some kind of sporting event. People assembling for that. It's the only thing that would make sense to me. I was looking at that earlier and wondering the same. But if it's unclear to us, we ought to at least make it clear or get rid of it.
yeah, and they are looking at the county right now in developing a valley-wide authority to be over that for the mass gathering permits for the health department and for EMS, because they're getting so many of these little ones out. They talked about that in our local meeting, that there's so much going out that is taxing our emergency services, as well as all health department only has so many inspectors for going out and inspecting these events as they happen. So they're looking at maybe doing in conjunction with everybody, setting that up to where it's not overrunning it. And then traffic too in the valley. They were worried about if all the events came at once, that we'd have issues with traffic in the town too. So
Like sheepdog and cystic.
Let's take it out.
I think we should take that one out,
sports simile,
just because it's not clear.
okay.
7220, yep.
Everything else looks like it, automobile, truck and trailer rentals. Everything else looks okay there, don't you think?
Yeah.
What do we think as food large scale? That's not very defined either. 50
The food packing plant, is that a giant restaurant?
Yeah.
I don't know, but it would seem it would be appropriate in the commercial zone,
Yeah, I think either one of those would be.
so.
Okay.
That's where you want those to locate.
Yep.
And so we did go over the bar and drinking establishments, so you'll remember that all sexually oriented businesses, the county has, and the city is, and well, all the municipalities have got together in that area that's set apart for that is by the airport. So countywide, there's an area that those businesses can go to. So they did that because if you don't have a spot for them to go to, then they can go pretty much anywhere. So that's why that was established. It was established, I want to say 1998. It's just continued. So I don't think we have any of those over there, but
Do we have any of them in the valley?
yeah, that's why I say I don't think we have any of those
Yeah.
here. I know there was an application for one, but it never followed through. I think it was an attention grabber. And it worked. Okay, so that finishes up the commercial. So that will take us, what's our next one?
Highway services zone?
Highway services.
I didn't even know we had that, a zoning named that.
We do.
Do we have anything zoned to highway services?
I don't think we have that. I don't
So
think
we-
anything is zoned that, but we do have that zone.
I have a copy of that.
Of the highway services zone? Yes.
Yeah.
I've got it here.
You got it? You want those? Okay, so you can read the purpose of it right there. Definitely along our highway corridors, this could be a zone that could be applied for.
We definitely need a place for donut shops, so.
Donuts and Mountain Dew. So that's gonna, definitely has a different feel than the commercial. There's definitely an area that some of this could go in.
There is not a conditional use section to that.
There is, it's all conditional use.
It's all, okay.
1102 is where they start. Because it's such an open thing that it's a broad spectrum of what would happen in a highway services zone. We do have 821 in our code that it talks to adjoining zones, abutting residential. So those areas, we have 821, which is supplemental standards. That also it would include in any of these zones. It's to protect, as you do abut a different zoning, to maintain what the current service is.
We got NEC,
What is it?
not elsewhere classified.
Oh, man. Well, that's a good one then, because it
Yeah.
could be classified somewhere else that it would fit.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Right on. Time out. I'm writing that right on here.
You just have to Google the right thing.
Just have to Google the right thing. I never Google the right thing. Okay,
What was that again, Gary? What did that stand for?
not elsewhere classified. So it may be classified in another zone that would maybe be more appropriate if you want
So I
to.
guess these are actually OSHA codes. Anyway, so this says description for 7999 amusement and recreation services not elsewhere classified. I think we saw the amusement and recreation services in one of the other ones.
Yes.
I don't see why we even need this particular zone. TV, because it's in our commercial corridors. Why would we need this?
Well, it looks to me like what they're doing is doing a compact node. So instead of doing sprawl, you're doing a compact node. So this could remember the interest we had in annexation? That would fit in this zone. That's probably what they would come in as, because they wanted stores in the front, everything in the back. So that lets you build a compact little area rather than spreading out the development. So they're able to change the whole zone and do everything they wanted to do within that zone. Instead of looking at residential zone and a commercial zone and a. Granted, we didn't see that application. Still talking about it.
So maybe somebody had a corner of their property they wanted to put a radio transmitting station tower on that would make a node in their property to do that possibly?
No, what I'm talking about, the note is they wanted to build commercial on the bottom floor and residential above.
I see.
So that's all in the highway facility zone. Because those two different uses will clash most of the time. You're seeing a change in a lot of that now. Park City's got a lot of that, Heber's got all that, built by Walmart is all commercial bottom, residential above. So these guys were looking at, the one that we was looking at, that come and talk to the planning commission, wanted to put the commercial in the front and then the residential in the back. They wasn't necessarily going up, they were,
Right.
but that was that whole parcel they were talking about. That's why they was asking you what the fill was here, if that was
Did
even
Independence
doable.
ever get working with those folks?
What's that?
Did Independence finally work with those folks?
It's in a lawsuit, so I assume that something's not worked out yet.
I still, Eric, even with that explanation, I still have trouble. Why complicate our commercial zone with this highway service zone? I'm still having trouble with that.
Well, if they went commercial, you wouldn't be able to do the residential. You'd have to have two different zones. If you went highway commercial, you could do both in that zone. So it will facilitate those two different uses within the same zone. We talked about having maybe a light industrial that maybe would, or a light commercial between the residential along the back of the airport, which would be a new zone that we'd have to create if we was to look at something like that, because we don't have light, heavy in the industrial zone, we just have industrial zone. So we thought, well, some of those people that we've been talking about that have businesses would probably want to relocate to that zone where they could live and have their business as a buffer between the heavy industrial and the residential zone.
And I'm thinking this doesn't hurt us because we have nothing zoned that, so to use it, someone would have to go through a rezone. And this is really a subset of what you could do in the commercial zone. So it gives us a tool to say, yeah, we're okay with it, given these limited things that can be done there, rather than zoning it commercial where you've got a broader amount or a broader item. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but
Base, a broader
broader,
base.
yeah.
Yeah, because where everything is conditional use, clearly if you want this zone, you're gonna come in with your conditions and be amicable with the town as you move towards that zoning.
Well, I'm all right with all of those classifications, 14, 20 down to 7,600. I don't have a problem with it.
Well, that was easy.
Yeah, it was.
So if somebody wanted to come in and put a quench at the corner of Mill Road and Highway 40, that might be a place you could just say, we could use this highway service zone for instead of commercial zone,
Yeah,
basically is what
yeah,
this
they
is
could
doing.
do that. Yeah, we would have a public outcry if they did that, they would want that there.
I was gonna say, I think that's a great idea,
Yeah.
because where they are is not a good idea.
Silver Eagle might not be happy because their pumps are always backed up and full.
Yeah.
You push them on down.
The little quenching shack is,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I was thinking,
Yeah.
somebody wanted to stick something like that on the corner there.
Yeah, that's the
Someday.
price.
That's our place for donuts and Mountain Dew.
Yes, it is.
Exactly.
Yes, it is. Okay, then our next zone would be the office and business park.
Which we also don't have
So we're
anything
not
zoned there.
taking anything out of that one.
No. Now, this still has to go to a public hearing, so this will just go to the council as a recommendation. And then we'll have the public hearing and the council will still be able to adjust these. This is just our recommendation to the council at this point. Okay. So the office and business park zone. We've seen a little bit of this coming into the valley now. There hasn't been a big call for it, I
Did
don't
you
know.
make copies of those?
Yes. Thank you,
Do we
Gary.
put one today that doesn't have a copy, so.
Thank you, Gary, for reminding me. Otherwise, I just take all these home and what do I want with those?
You know, might get cold this winter.
Yeah. Yeah, don't get offended if you ever get one with an X through it and the stuff you need to see on the back. I've done that before. Okay. Again, we have the same kind of a situation on there with the number and use classification, food to go. A lot of these overlap what we did in the commercial zone. Although the pharmaceutical preparations, I wonder if we can get a hemp shop.
Go right next to the donut shop.
Oh, man, taxes are going down.
One stop and the next.
I'd like a little stock.
Yeah.
Right. Wonder if we can build that in a circle.
One big drive-through.
With no exit?
They might
No.
not lost.
Yeah.
No exit.
No exit bathroom, just keep going around till you're broke. So we even had, you know, this zone allows for motion picture production, small scale. We just had that movie that was shot on Little Sweden Road. But this would actually, so that was under a temporary permit. This actually would be a production company that could set up in this zone.
Why didn't they, in their application, why didn't they set up in this zone? Didn't know about it?
Well, this is for production. They were doing on-site.
Yeah. You don't want to rezone for a 3-month movie shoot.
Yeah, they had a 90-day window, which they, by the way, they're done. And they have, the town released their bond. So it's all cleaned up, did an inspection, they're done filming, so.
Mr. Doug Seuss happy?
Don't know, I haven't talked to him.
Is this like what's in Park City where all the,
Right, that would be
They
a
shoot.
production,
That's-
yeah.
right on the hill?
Mm-hmm, yep. there seems to be more and more interest in doing movies up here, so. We did get a few complaints on that one, but overall it went really well. So is there anything in there that you guys see that,
Well, if Ryan was gonna be here, I was gonna object to 6530, but since he's not.
I kinda wonder about data processing services. We wanna put a limit on the size of something like that. Some of these jobs I've been to that are called data centers for processing stuff,
They could be very large.
cover many acres.
you thinking of putting a limit on size?
Something like in our commercial zone, we have a 40,000 square foot
Mm-hmm.
limit, and large scale goes to over, up to a certain amount maybe. I'm sure when data processing services were thought of, when this was put together, it was a totally different.
It probably is.
Yeah.
But if you, where would you use this zone, office and business park zone? Would it matter if it's a large scale? If you're not up against residential, would it matter if it's large scale, or if you're creating the zone and it's big enough that they're applying for this zone?
Yeah, would we say that's a good fit for an office and business park, is what you're saying?
Yeah. I would hate to see that come into a commercial zone.
Doesn't bring, say it doesn't bring much traffic,
No?
just dims your lights.
Yeah. Just-
I guess that with this office and business park, if we followed our, like you're saying, our code, it wouldn't probably get it too big.
Yeah, well, and if it was that big, would it fit in that zone? That's what I'm,
Yep.
so.
Okay. I can see it. Don't need to change it.
So the conditional uses on there, that was the uses, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the conditional uses was communication, electric utility, gas utilities, water utilities, irrigation, other medical services, not elsewhere classified. Government services. That's it, nobody say anything?
I'm not seeing anything that bothers me.
See, so here's nursery, primary and secondary education. And I believe that the state code's gonna allow them to go in any zone, if that's what the codes, state code will allow that to happen, so. You could take it off of there, but they could put it right back in.
Yep.
Well, nursery might though open it up to non-state.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like
Have
a
to read that
preschool or
code
something like
again.
that, or daycare.
Daycare, but
I think that's a good,
that's fine in that zone for me.
it's a good zone, because mom and dad could maybe work in that zone and have their
With the
kids right
data
there,
center.
too.
Any of this striking any chord with you?
I'm fine with it.
Taking notes.
All right.
Yeah.
It's getting our juices going, yeah.
Right on. Okay, so we had take nothing out of that zone. Now we're to the industrial zone. So we do have a limited amount of industrial zone between the airport and RA5. There's no commercial between that, so. You got them all, huh? You guys want your own copy, or you get Sharon?
No, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, we're good.
we have some of this that goes on, we've had complaints, and some of the, and I think most of the complaints becomes a proximity to the RA5. I think that's where most of the complaints come. At least the ones I've been associated with.
I wonder what the deal is with apparel except leather. Leather.
I don't know, 'cause they do the same thing with,
I'm not familiar with any of that.
Well, if it's leather and leather products are under conditional uses. If you get into like leather tanneries, the pollution issues can be pretty big, and I think that's probably why. I mean, if they're buying leather and making leather apparel, I don't see an issue, but you definitely wouldn't want a tannery where your water supply is gonna be at risk.
You don't want places that drop off the cows and here you go.
Yeah, and tanneries usually aren't like that, but they use a lot of heavy metals and other things to tan leather, so.
yeah, strong.
Yeah.
That's what I wondered if there was much odor that might come with that. That process.
Probably a lot of odor.
Well, yeah, but I don't see.
But whereas with
They've got to be
apparel,
using a lot of chemicals in apparel and textile products.
yeah, I don't get why leather apparel is an issue, but
Yeah, I don't know.
unless they're just trying to avoid them tanning the leather and making the
They're
apparel.
making apparel out of it.
That could be why. So if I'm looking at this, I think 4850 ought to be moved to conditional use.
Publicly owned?
Yeah, because which public is going to own it? Is it the county wanting to build it in the town? Is it, so I think you need to have it as an option, but I think we need a little bit more.
So you wanna move it to conditional use?
Yeah.
What are we moving?
4850, transfer station,
That's
publicly
just a
owned?
suggestion right now, so we haven't moved it yet.
No, I think it's a good idea.
There's two.
We already have two in the county.
We do. You actually have
There could
three.
always be more.
Well,
Yep.
they're not publicly owned though.
Well, privately owned, yeah.
Yeah.
Only one's publicly owned, right?
Right.
It's just our transfer station, the county, yeah, everything else is private. So what, do you think we ought to move that to conditional? Mark, what do you think?
I mean, it still makes it possible, but I think it gives us a little bit more control.
I mean, really, I'm thinking the only problem we had with that was lighting, I think. There's noise issues, but
Lighting, and there used to be a lot of wind-blown trash. They've taken care of that.
yeah, they're closing that, they've really taken care of that.
But I'm just thinking, as a conditional use, we could put some of those conditions on it. It might be a good thing.
Yeah, I was just sitting there going, does it even, why does it have parentheses in public owned? Is it saying that you
We don't
can't have
have-
a privately owned one at that point also?
Yeah, well, privately owned, it falls under some different regulations. I think you've looked into some of that, haven't you, Gary? To me, you brought that up before.
I did, I can't remember.
Isn't it awesome?
Yep.
I don't have a
My
problem
data
with it.
processing center is full already. and there's no more.
I would put it in the conditional, I don't believe it's gonna be a problem.
Okay, conditional use.
Is that different than the one we were just talking about?
So 4850, you're gonna move from a
Permitted?
permitted use to a conditional use.
Okay.
Will be the recommendation there.
Other than that, I don't see anything that jumps out at me.
And a bunch of those are the same things we just looked at in the other zone, in highway services,
Yeah.
electrical, and a lot of that, so. And again, if the uses are fine, but we also, I mean, if there's something that's causing a problem, we also have the nuisance that we can go after if they're causing off-site problems. The nuisance is the one usually that is the strongest one because the state backs up a nuisance. The nuisance code comes from the state.
But it's still always easier to stop the nuisance before it starts.
It is. Except for if you can see it coming.
Yeah, but I'm just saying, some of these kind of invite a nuisance,
Yes.
like a transfer station. It doesn't necessarily have to be, but,
Well, a nuisance and as well as a service, a needed service.
Yeah.
So,
but I'm saying, at the point when the county was letting the trash blow all over, and you had to pick the grocery sacks out of your bales of hay,
yes,
then that was a problem.
yes. Yes, it was. They're working on that. They're gonna ban all plastic bags.
In your code book, do you show this section 8, 13.06? Has that been taken out?
I believe that's omitted.
Lot frontage. Is that one we talked, it's labeled as lot frontage?
Yeah.
Oh, something's going down.
Probably after us.
They won't send that many.
I know, Daniel, people have a reputation.
They do, but the only 3 guys with guns take care of that. There aren't no survivors. Timberlake's on fire?
Well, I would almost think, but I don't know.
This is my fire department.
That does, that's not good, it's so dry, terrible, terrible. Okay, well, if everything else looks good on there, we'll push that one. Except for transfer station.
Oh, no, it wasn't. There was, where is it? $23.60, I think we should drop that one.
Leather and leather products?
I think leather products, but are fine, but, well, it depends. If they're making leather from hides, they just like to avoid it. I don't think anybody's gonna make one, or do one, because it's too hard to meet the regulations in the US at all
Yeah.
anymore.
Well, I imagine if somebody was doing that, it may be small scale. I don't know.
Yeah,
And it is in the conditional use already.
true. Okay. I mean, saddles are leather products, so if a saddle maker came in, that'd be great.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, some of these, you look at and you think, wow, I don't know. Sugar manufacturing,
yeah, well, that's right next to beverage manufacturing, so that's how you get your Mountain Dew.
that's how it's it. Nobody uses sugar anymore. Okay, we'll push that one. Then, if everybody's good with that one. And we will go to the public facilities zone, which is our last zone, is that correct? Look at us go. We're doing good tonight, good job.
This
Don't
zone
have
is
anything-
established to provide areas in Daniel for the placement of public facilities.
Right, and right now, we don't have anything zoned public facilities, do we?
No,
I don't think so. Okay.
nope, nothing zoned public. The 3 zones, well, the zones we have is RA1, RA5, commercial, and industrial. So those are the zones that we currently have.
But we have the other zones too, but currently have property zoned in those.
Yeah, there's nothing zoned that property.
Yeah.
So if somebody's looking to get get their property zoned, that allows them, they don't have to build the whole code, because we have the
Right,
code.
right.
They can just apply for that zone. It's a bigger process if they're creating a new zone that we don't have.
In your permitted uses, do you show this 1111A taken out? Remodel or addition of existing home which conforms to the requirements of this Title 8. I think that was taken out, wasn't it?
I do not have that taken out.
No, I didn't see that in my copy either.
Okay.
I think it ought to stay.
Is that this very first thing that's on here? So we're taking it out?
No.
No.
I think we ought to change the wording so it says remodeling or addition to, because addition of, I don't know how you add an existing home, but
To an existing home?
yeah, or addition to an existing home. But not, or you're saying addition of,
Okay.
does that mean you can take an existing home and move it in? I don't know, I just think that wording's ought to be changed.
You're saying you should take of and make it to?
Yeah,
Commissioners think? Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
I agree with that.
I'm taking out what?
Of,
Of.
making it to.
So remodeling and or
Remodeling
addition.
or addition to an existing home, isn't that what
To
you're saying?
existing? Thank you.
I have a hard time following us sometimes too.
I know some of the nature exhibitions might have to be over by the airport.
So if we was looking at establishing a business park or something else, this would be, obviously, we would be zoning up public facilities to build the roads, put in the infrastructure. I don't see us doing
Do that, or this would be like parks or fairground,
Mhm.
or if we somehow build our own town hall.
Yeah,
Don't say that.
Like I pitched our town hall tent.
yeah. Pull the wagon in a circle.
Yeah.
Where are we
I
to
don't
now?
see any problems with this one.
Public facility zone, we're just looking at the conditional uses on it.
We're through with the permitted?
Yeah, I didn't see anything that was,
Okay.
There wasn't too many to choose from.
no.
Sewer treatment facilities?
Yep.
That's down the road, isn't
I think we're about bad samples away in Deer Creek.
it? Really?
And I think you're gonna see the federal government, state government come in and say, you will hook up.
That was really strange that the algae formed, but this isn't the first year, is it?
It's not the first year.
And see, that was one of the main subjects of why they wanted to put the treated sewage out on the fields here. And they were definitely against putting it into the Provo River, even though it's supposed to be chemically clean.
Right. So get rid of your septic tank and accept all of the water from the sewer treatment plant and put on there instead.
Yeah.
Makes a lot of sense.
Well, the county tells me that my sewer system doesn't go down the ground, it evaporates
That's
up.
what they say. Yep. Health
Because,
department says
because they
that.
won't let me put the,
Yeah, you can't, no deep systems.
yeah.
Yep, you have to pump up into a shallow system.
So a
Percolate
full-fledged
fast.
sewer treatment plant for all of the smaller towns in the valley, 40, 50 million later.
Well, or the micro. They're looking at micro sewer plants that'll be just around, so.
So I could eliminate the pump from the basement.
Not for micro.
Depends on where they run the main line.
Oh, yeah, if they put a main line in, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, it depends on the main line. You have to remember it's on a pump when the power goes out, don't you?
Happens on them too.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't think we're that far away from seeing something, couple of samples in Deer Creek where it's used for culinary water. There's over 1 million people drinking out of that lake. And I don't.
Did they have an algae bloom on Deer Creek this year?
Yes,
Really?
two of them.
Huh,
Yep.
must have missed it.
They're showing up in places you'd never think. Matt Warner Reservoir,
Yeah,
they're up on top of the mountains.
yeah, they're
It
just
just was
so weird.
They have a problem, it's closed.
Is it being transferred by waterfowl?
I have no idea.
I don't know.
Is there a theory on
I
that?
think Smith and Morehouse actually had one too.
They did.
Yeah, I saw them on the news, so.
Or is it because our ozone layer getting too thick and we don't get enough
I
sun?
don't know, I've talked to a couple of environmental scientists that think they've always been there, they're just now being identified,
No.
so. People are more aware, more people on there.
Or I think they do it to make you feel better.
Might be. I know that when they do that on Utah Lake, there's plenty of room to ski. Nobody goes.
Yeah, people used to not go to when they get toilet paper cut on their skis, but
That's where I learned to ski and you didn't want to crash. Good incentive to stay up.
Make sure you keep your mouth closed.
That's right. That's right. I'm gonna crash into this. So yeah, I think that that's probably something that we will see in the not too distant future. I think what will happen is the government will come in with 50% grant or whatever to install. At that point, Charleston will really kick themselves off. The Olympics was gonna put that in for them, totally at their cost. They said nope. Yeah, things will change as the population increases. I know that the county's looking at the current water classification in the county, because right now it's pristine classification, and they're saying that it's too hard on developers. And so they're looking at changing that classification. If that happens, that will definitely loosen the regulations a little bit, so. There's talk of that at the county. That was a lot of talk on sewer treatment, wasn't it?
We have a good conversation.
So in Colorado, so it's pretty good.
yeah, my brother went to schedule it for the soda's been.
Did he?
That's something they were offering to put reviews. 2 years earlier than they wanted to sell.
Right here, as long as they want to get it done.
But still have their house, but they sold the 6 acres next to it.
Did you guys see anything else in this conditional use?
I don't see anything.
I don't.
Yeah, a lot of that's talking about undeveloped ground.
Stuff that has to be in a public zone, it looks like to me.
Yeah, except for these fishing activities.
I feel like every
Maybe
city,
we
they
forgot
have
the P off the front of it.
Oh, different fishing, okay.
Fishing pond in the middle of the city.
It goes with the call centers.
Okay, well, that took us through all of our zones that we have. So at this point, I guess we'll need a motion to send it to public hearing.
Did we still need to get someone that was gonna go through and make sure that all them uses that, what was it, that were in different zones got lumped into, we were worried that we were overlapping some uses when we first started.
The only one I can think of was the kennel, and we were trying to put it where? Where did it end up?
Well,
Where did we put it?
it was like right-of-ways uses and the power line right-of-ways, water lines and sewer lines.
I think we just did away with a lot of those big ones that didn't have the big KV lines. That was, we thought that would be passing through, not necessarily distribution line within the community.
Yeah, we did do away with some, but I thought we were gonna try to make sure we weren't.
I think before we set the public hearing, I think we need to compile the final list and just review it one more time.
I agree.
So all of our lists are in the minutes as we've done these, all of them are in the minutes. But we,
Supposedly.
yeah, well, what
I'm
we're,
not saying you're not doing your job, but
well, what we're up against is the conditional use moratorium will expire in November. So we got to get to the public
Get a
hearing
public meeting, yeah. public hearing.
and get it passed before the November, or it will expire and everything, that all your work you've done will continue.
Do we wanna just put an email out on everything that's,
We can
can
do
just let us
that.
vote on it that way, or say we're good with
We
it?
can't vote on it, but we can at least
Say,
say we,
Well, we
if there's
can,
an issue with this, we go back to the minutes, and if we talked about it.
and again, if there's something that comes up, the public hearing is there, that's what it's
Yeah.
for.
Okay,
So we can still talk about it.
so we can still change it at the public hearing.
Right,
Okay, I understand.
so we can do that. So our
Is this motion for a public hearing?
motion is to send the conditional uses, well, we shouldn't say that, to send the zoning to a public hearing for October the 7th at 6 o'clock.
I would make that motion.
Okay.
I'll second it.
All right, so the motion is to,
Send the conditional use.
Send the, well, it
No,
was
there's the
zoning,
zoning.
zoning,
send the zoning,
Changes.
Changes.
the zoning changes to the town
to a
council,
public hearing.
for a public hearing.
For a public hearing. And that pretty well covers it.
Except, did you want to add the date?
Yeah, October, what do they say,
6th. 7th.
7th?
Is it on a
On
Monday?
October 7th,
At 6 o'clock p.m. October 7th at 6 o'clock p.m. Then we'll meet with the council in that public hearing. Won't require the public to come out twice. We'll have a joint meeting again. Okay, so I have a motion and a second. Mark seconded that. Any discussion? Okay, call for the vote. All in favor? Aye? No, any opposed? Nope. Okay, we'll send it to, for a public hearing, we'll set up for a public hearing. What would you like to see before the public hearing, as Commissioner?
I'd like to see the document that we're going to have at the public hearing to present the changes. So, I don't know, just so what the list would be if the changes were approved.
So if we do what the code will be, those changes won't show up, because they won't be there, the things we took out.
Right.
Is that what you want to see, is the finish?
Yeah, because we already have what it was.
Okay.
I'm thinking that's got to be compiled for the public hearing anyway.
Yes.
We didn't take out more than 10 or 12 items. Through all of these 7 zones.
Yeah, that wasn't,
I don't think we took out more than. So it should be fairly easy to,
so what you want is a list of everything we took out?
no, they're asking for the list of everything that stayed.
And what it will be if we change the code.
So the things that
How
we
do you
took
do
out
that with
won't
your
appear in
software?
that.
How do you do that with your software?
I don't know.
I mean, do we have a Word copy in Word or something of the? I mean, all I have is a PDF, but.
Oh, yeah, it might be PDF. What is it on, it's PDF on the website, isn't it?
I mean,
PDF on the website.
depending on the software, you gotta convert that back so you can edit it, but
Yeah, that's
you
probably.
definitely don't wanna retype it.
Yeah, it probably is a
No, no, you
PDF.
don't wanna do that. Retype the whole thing?
No. Somebody's gotta have a copy in Word, it was originally in
Oh,
Word.
Dan Horvath.
Oh, no.
That's when the last time we looked at that, 2006. When we became a town, so he had it,
So you bring that up and then edit it.
I wonder if Mary has it.
I don't know.
I think you may be able to paste from a PDF into the Word document, worst case scenario too.
Yeah, you could, but we need a new PDF at the end.
True.
So it might be worth, probably not in the budget, but buying software that will convert it from PDF to Word. I mean, the new version of Word supposedly will do it, but you'd have to wait.
I'm
for about a
thinking,
week.
I'm just thinking our engineering firm probably has a, they probably do a lot of conversion from PDF to
Yeah,
They
you,
probably do.
editing and back into PDF.
yeah, you would think so.
There's some smart folks down there.
Some of them know how to do it. I think they'll be able to take care of it.
So you'd be able to go through and edit the original
So I'm pulling
version.
off the website and then,
No, I think we're gonna have to go down and talk to.
Ryan,
Yeah.
or the people at Ryan's office.
Yeah, somebody at Ryan's office down there. But I was just thinking, cause I can hit it and print.
Yeah, I can check and see, because I just bought a copy of Office in 2019. And I think it'll do it, but what I've used in the past, it's like it takes hours.
Okay, so if you can get one, we'll send it to you in Word format, so you'll be able to,
Yeah, I can try it.
so we'll be sending you the Word either way. I will check with Ryan's office and see if they can convert that to Word, shoot you a copy in Word.
Okay.
Then once we're done with the public hearing, everything's done, then we'll give it back to them to convert the PDF to put back on the website,
alright,
so that people can't go in and change anything in there. I'm not sure that's the reason it's on there. I don't know how many people don't sleep at night, I don't know.
You should be able to change it on the website, no matter what format it's in, but,
Yeah, that's true. But I can print off of it,
yeah,
the website, so I don't know.
well, down is okay, up is not.
Yeah, let me take it. Okay, we've got that. Looks like we're to the planning report. That was a lot of work, huh? Oh, that's not good. Grouping of residential lots, so it's not gonna be in it. See, and we took that off on the P-160, the grouping of residential lots, and the county's holding a public hearing on that right now. Well, it'll be the 25th, regarding grouping of residential lots.
Regarding what, Harry?
Grouping of residential lots, they're allowing the transfer of development off the valley floor into the P-160. So you can buy a lot, transfer that to the P-160 and cluster develop. And that will
A few
be,
years later, build on the other one.
right. So that report is what's been happening in the town, what we've been messing around with and working through issues. You've got, Tom stopped by and he wanted to know the Raymond Ag Building was going up and he didn't think that they had a permit, but those permits show up on these planning reports. Anything that you allow staff to, the additions and the ag buildings. So they show up on these reports that you guys have. The dumpster service on the complaint end, the dumpster